Hey, what's up, guys? How's the connection? On my side is telling me I'm dropping a lot of frames, and that's not good. But I think I'm just gonna go with it. So yeah, I'm sitting at like, geez, telling me 50%. What on earth is going on with my service provider? I'm telling you, I'm gonna rage again. And last time they were like, no, but there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. We've checked your connection, and then I stream again, and then it's dropped frames. Ay, ay, ay. How's it on your guys' side? So today, what I want to do is just make, I feel like a lot of the time when I'm producing a track, stuff like the rises and transitions and that kind of thing, I feel like I've got to craft them from scratch because I don't really have a huge library of unique sounds. So I kind of want to start creating a unique library of a huge library of unique sounds that I can kind of pull from, just to speed up that creative process. You know, when you have to create things like simple things like rises and just little transition effects, often kind of slows down that creative process, slows down that momentum when you've got to kind of do everything from scratch. Patrick Chusa, hey dude, how are you? I'm good. Make something that you normally say, like, if that makes sense. We're gonna get there, don't you worry. Audio is fine, but image is lagging. Okay, I guess that's doable. Just quickly had to, sorry if that was loopy, just had to send a message to my ISP real quick, because it's terrible. This is terrible. I'm getting like a couple of moments where it's like 0 kilobytes per second. It's like, what even, that's not even internet at this point. Anyway, I'm just going to try focus on the music because you guys say that the audio is coming through good, so that should be good enough for me, I think. What I want to do is I just want to start creating sound effects and transitions and loops and that kind of thing. So, you know, what's here in the track might not, you know, we might not use this. I just want to synthesize a bunch of kind of like those staple bread and butter sounds, you know, rises and that kind of stuff. But I think it'll be good for you guys to, you know, see how a lot of these things are created in various ways of creating like variations of them and that kind of thing. So yeah, where do we go today? I think let's go with some phase plant. Let's start with some phase plant today. And maybe let's just start with like riser, noise riser, and we can start doing some effects and that kind of thing a little bit later on. So I think the best way to do this would probably be to just put in a long MIDI note. I think the rises generally, you know, over like 4 long bars should be enough time to kind of get a lot of variation going there. You don't often see them longer than that. So yeah, I think let's just start off with like a basic noise kind of riser, and we can play around with some filtering and that kind of stuff. Lil Davis, I'm so sorry. What was your question in the beginning? Let me scroll up. What happened to the foresty, swampy, alien, UFO, forest witch track? I think that got lost in the swamp, my dude. It's lost in the swamp of project files. Something about frequency shifting on white noise. It's just so simple, yet so nice. The microphone. Okay, hold on a sec. It's weird, like my computer resets itself from time to time. So I've got to jump in and fix a few things. Let's just see here. Levels. I think last time we got it on like 93 or 95 or so. I think that was good. Is that better? I think I'm also just talking soft today. So yeah, I think what we can do, instead of creating like an LFO to modulate these parameters, we can do it with a macro, and then we just draw in the modulation for like the rise, if you know what I mean. It's got a bit of a ringy thing going on there. So what we can maybe do is use a filter and then set it to notch and reduce the gain. Find exactly where that kind of like peaky point is, and then just modulate it with the macro as well. So it kind of like follows that same path, if that makes sense. I did it, guys. So with the the default noise, there is no pitch shifting on the actual oscillator. We could add a effect as a pitch shifter, which could be interesting. But I feel like that frequency shifter, especially with things like white noise, where it's like it's every frequency at the same time. When you pitch shift white noise, it starts to get a little bit like noisy. Whereas when you frequency shift it, it kind of like adds a kind of vibe to it. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly. These other noise modes do have pitch shifting, but they're also a little bit noisier. We could experiment though and see what happens. It's actually quite nice to go down on the square noise mode. It kind of like gets a bit granular at the bottom there. Armando Strokes, When the Melody Comes. Dude, I didn't know Psytrance people like melodies. I got the melodies waiting. I got them waiting here. Just kidding. No, these percussions are not from the Astral Beings pack. There is some percussions loop in there. Aware, Aviv, how you doing, dude? Aware. Lots of sonic ear candy now. That's the point. I'm trying to like create a bunch of these like sound effects loopy type things which have like a lot of inspiration in them, so I can kind of just create kick and bass, throw some stuff in there and start working on like a melody or a hook or something like that. I feel like a lot of the time my production process is sound designing, and that kind of like takes away a lot of the, I mean, I love sound designing, don't get me wrong, but I don't save enough of my stuff as stuff that can just quickly be like recorded as samples and that kind of thing. So I want to start building myself a little bit of a library of risers and these kinds of things. So this is that process. No melody. What year is this? 2000. I wish, dude. I wish it was 2000. I think it needs to be soothed just a little bit. And then I think I'm going to render it out. I like that. It's got a nice vibe to it. Nice vibe. Dude, my connection. What the fuck is going on today? It's like averaging out at like under 1,000 kilobytes per second. Not good. Nice hook. Thank you, man. Thank you. The hook is actually from my Vital preset pack. I did that I did show that in like a previous video or stream or something. I can't remember. But that sound, I think it's a sequence that's in my Vital preset pack. Let me see. I do want to go through a bunch of like the presets and stuff for creating these things, because a lot of the time, like, you know, when I grab a preset, I don't want to have to think of like a melody or whether I want to use it as a one shot or that kind of thing. I kind of just want it already there, and I can cycle through a bunch of sounds. I want to create the kind of ability for me to be a bit more lazy, so that I can concentrate on like letting the creativity flow, if that makes sense. So let's see. Let's render this guy out. Wait, I said I was going to do something. Yeah, I'm going to soothe it. Soothe. So I think to save time, I'm not going to actually do the whole export business on stream. I'm just going to put them all into like a folder, and then like later on, I should probably not do this because I'm going to forget, but I'll sort that. You guys know the vibe. But we'll get to that another time. Let's just call these sound effects transitions. Morning, doggo. Okay, I did the number one mistake actually when creating this kind of thing. You want to actually render your samples out louder than usual, just so that the waveforms aren't so small, so you don't have to like boost them later on down the line. Obviously, with newer DAWs and that kind of thing, bit depth and that kind of thing is not such a problem. But that being said, it's just always good practice to get loud samples as opposed to soft ones. Anyway. Don't know Soothe yet. What is it for? It's for soothing. It's like it's hard to explain. It's like a spectral dynamic EQ with a ton of like nodes. So it kind of like reads the input and reduces these nodes depending on what it feels like will sound the best at the end. So I won't call it like AI, so to speak, but it's like it uses like adaptive EQing as well as like a kind of like built-in spectral profile of what it thinks sounds good to kind of spit out good results. But it's also interesting for splitting signals in spectral ways. Like I've actually used it in a previous stream to remove, essentially it's designed to remove resonance from signals, and it detects where those resonance peaks are. But it's also cool, say for example, if you want to add like a drum, you got like a full track, but it's missing like a rhythmic element. You can kind of like extract just the resonant tones from a rhythmic drum loop and then layer that in, and it's a nice way of like adding something in that's not like a full thing. It's just like a bit of sparkle on top. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but yeah. Okay, what next? We got like a white noise riser. Should we do like a sample type of thing? Should we mess with some samples? I think that could be cool. Marcel Mertens, your sound is great. How do you process everything so it sounds like it's mastered? Do you have ozone on or something? Do you mean on like the master output that you guys are hearing? To be honest with you, no, but and yes. So I've got Vox and Go Elephant, but it's not actually doing anything magical. Like all it's doing is gaining up by 6 dB and limiting. That's all. So I feel like as much as people are like, oh yeah, ozone, it is. Oh gosh, now my fucking connection is dead, like complete 0 kilobits. Let me give it a sec. Okay, I'm going to loop it a bit. I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'm going to come back. I'm going to explain some things. I'm going to give you guys the facts. Okay, hopefully my connection will be usable at that point in time. But yeah, let me just give you some loops and then some facts. I'll be right back. Okay, it looks a little bit more stable now. So anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so... Oh my gosh, now it's gone back down to 0. Okay, I'm just going to go for it. Stuff like isotope, ozone, and all that kind of stuff. They're good plugins when you have something like already finished and you want an idea as to how you want to like master it or how you want to process it. But the dangerous thing about running those kind of plugins on a project while you're working on it is compensation. So for example, a lot of the time those like automatic mastering plugins will adjust for low end, or do certain things to the processing which might stray you away from fixing that in the production of the track. So I tend to stay away from any type of thing that's going to change what the project sounds like. I just want it louder, if that makes sense. That's all. So Vox & Go Elephant, in my opinion, is one of the cleanest limiter maximizer plugins, and it's also just so easy to use. That's why, so there's no like trick to my sound. I guess it's just trying to produce things so that they sound as mastered as possible, so that there's less work having to be done in the mastering process. So just make your sounds sounding like you want it to in the end, and don't. I think what confuses a lot of people is they think that mastering is this kind of like magic technique that's just going to make anything sound amazing. But that's absolutely not the case. I think trying to give your mastering engineer as little work in the end as possible is going to give you the best results, because you're giving him exactly what you want, and all he really has to do is make sure that it's at the standard levels and that kind of thing. So anyway, back to the task at hand. The lead, that's from my Vital Volume 2 preset pack. If you guys are keen on getting that exact lead, it's from the Vital pack. I also want to look into some of the stuff from my Phase Plant pack. We can create some stuff from that as well. Templates. Templates will definitely help you as well. Setting up a good template for the things that you use often, plugins that you use often, just to reduce that amount of loading time in between your kind of in your session, See, like this kind of thing, I don't want to have to. That kind of thing is so useful just as a sample with a bunch of reverb on it or something. I don't want to have to load Vital, find the preset every time. I just want to chuck in something, and I actually end up using this exact sound so much. It's also from my Vital pack. So much lately, like it's becoming kind of like a signature sound. So I think it'll be important to just like get it out in a couple of different keys, you know. Is what similar to Bitwig? Cubase? Not really. Not really. I'd say Bitwig is closer to Ableton. The Vital Pack is not free. For the Patreons, Patreons get a 40% discount, if I'm not mistaken. And the link, let me grab it for you, my friend. I don't know if it's in the description or not, but I'll post it here. Rick KKKK. Do you mean in the percussion loop? I believe it's like a bongo or conga loop that I just chopped up. don't think there's enough tail on this. Cuts out quite obviously. For anyone just tuning in, I do apologize for the jumpy bitrate. There seems to be something very wrong with my internet at the moment, which I cannot explain, and I apologize. Cool, that's like nice variation on that. Those two will work together. Got a cool progressive vibe to it actually. Yeah, let's render that. Astifasi, greetings from Romania. Hello, greetings from South Africa. I think I found the perfect sound to show you guys like what Soothe does, because this thing is resonant as hell. Simon Lynch, thank you so much. I'm glad you dig those presets. Generally speaking, I like to have my basses kind of more side-chained on a kind of, how can I say, a more regimented rhythm as opposed to velocity sensitive. But you can just add a velocity modulator and then just apply it to like the gain of the layer, or apply like a gain effect or something like that into the lane. I can go through that if you want. Here in Soothe, you can actually set it so that you just hear the delta, which is like what it's only what it's removing. And you can like also focus it in on like specific frequency bands, like. For those who don't know, just by the way, just a side note, I've got an official Faceplant content bank out. So, yeah, the question came up. Simon Lynch asked if how to assign velocity onto these bass presets, because by default, I don't think any of them have velocity, because I tried to kind of bake in a sidechain into each one where it was more of a kind of like regimented rhythm, if that makes sense. But we could replace that sort of sidechain motion with a velocity modulator, which we can dive into now. So let's just see how that would be done. Formant Voice, we can do that. I think the Sybase 2 was one of my favorite ones, so let's just start there. I can actually just copy the MIDI over from this channel. I think I've got it split onto two. Let's just glue them together. I think I've got to transpose it. What key are we in? F sharp. Don't know if this patch works so well on this key. I think that MIDI, when I glued it together, it like overlapped all sorts of nonsense. So we were getting chords on the bass. So here, for example, Sybase 4, we've got this LFO, which is doing the sidechain pattern. We could replace this thing that's sending to the gain. We could replace this with a velocity modulator. So this is sending 50% to this gain module over here. So we can just go like this, set this to modulate the gain 50%. And we may have to remove this modulation over here. Now we can go and edit the actual velocities though. Got a nice groove to it. Cool, Simon, I hope that explains that for you. This track, I think it kind of needs more of that solid. It's more of a full-on and a progressive, so I think it needs more of that solid vibe on the bass. You know, that like same click every hit. So we could maybe explore some of the other sounds in the pack. There was this droplets. I really dig this one for creating transition-y type things. Cool. I like that. What was this preset? It was droplets, transition-y thing. Alex Feeman, how you doing, dude? How was your hiking? Yes, I'm still feeling it. It was awesome. I loved it. I've never been that high in my life, quite literally. It was amazing, though. Great experience. Okay, here's the sequence that that the main lead in this track is. It's called SEQ the One. That's from my Vital Essentials Volume 2 sound pack.
Modulator.
Yeah, no, dude, I've got one, MC303. It's such a weird thing because it's a nice box because of all the all-in-one sounds, but each sound itself kind of sounds a bit rubbish, if you know what I mean. So I find myself having a lot of fun playing with it, but like I could never record each sound in and use it in a track, if that makes sense. Like the actual 303 sound in there is so flat. Like it doesn't sound like a 303, if you know what I mean. I'm not feeling that one so much, but I mean, we could always, I think the tail of it is pretty cool. We could kind of reverse that and see if we can kind of post-process this a little bit. I'm going to be right back. I'll see you guys shortly. Asti Farsi, the reversing sample technique is used in Psygo. I think reversing samples is used in every genre. Steels. I got to get to that. I've just been so like ingrained in Faceplant and Vital that, yeah, I guess Hive 2 was also, it was like one of my favorite synths because of like its simplicity and stuff. It's a great synth, but I do need to get back onto making some tutorials in the latest version. Okay. I think like what I want to try to do is like at least 10 things for each key or each kind of like root note that I use quite often. Obviously not all in this stream, but that's kind of what I want to achieve, so that when I'm like, okay, now time to make a song, it's like I don't have to think about all these other things. I can just look through a bunch of stuff for some inspiration, and then maybe work on the static in this microphone. Always like grabs my hair. It's so funny. So yeah, I think, let's see how much we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I guess quite a few of these aren't really like key relevant. So I can maybe sort through these. For example, like these are, I can just put these in a folder, call these like no key or something. These are all in F sharp. I can always cherry pick the best ones. I think like for now, I just want to get as much content like into this kind of like idea as possible while I'm feeling creative, you know, so that I can slow down that process later on. Let's just chop this. This is like a pad slash stab thing, I guess. Dude, this reverb, oh my gosh, Cloud Seed. It's the best. I can't believe my internet's still giving me issues. Oh my gosh. Hey Fishadelic, how you doing? Cheers from South Africa, mate. What's Neoverb, dude? Is Neoverb free? Neoverb. Isotope, nah. I kind of lost... Isotope is good stuff, but like I find like a lot of this stuff, there's so much... how can I say? This stuff is not very intuitive at the end of the day. Like there's a lot of other stuff going on there and all sorts of stuff, whereas like... for free, there's so many other plugins that can do the same thing. They just might not have like the presets that are specific to certain things, if that makes sense. So Isotope is really good if you're looking for like a quick and easy preset thing. But there are this like just as good stuff, in my opinion, out there. Hey, Stevo. Is it sunny in Montreal? It's rainy here in South Africa. We like swapped. I'd really dig that sound, but that peak might have to be dealt with, but we can always sort that out at a later stage. I want to maybe render out a few versions of this, because it's got some randomization on it. We can choose the best one. How does Vital compare to other synths for CPU usage? I find it really good. I actually find it like a lot better than some other like commercial synths and stuff. Serum was great until the update with the drag export. After that, for some reason, the CPU just spikes in Cubase on my system. I don't know why. And Vital at the moment seems to be better than Serum for me in terms of CPU usage. But I guess it's like with these things is like they add like a feature, and then so it's like it'll get better, and then another plugin will get better, and I guess, and then CPUs will get better and all sorts. Okay, I think I'm going to be right back, and then I'm going to cherry pick these plucks, these squelchers. And then maybe we can create like a different part with some, like a different key, create some other loops in that key. Hello, Dimented D. Thanks so much, dude. Check out Cloudseed, dude. Cloudseed is the business. So, what are we going to do now, gents and ladies, if there are any? We are going to create some variations. So I like these. I like where this is. This is a nice like pack of inspiration to draw from if I ever want to just start a project and I'm feeling not that inspired. Let's try create something in a different key. So let's just move this along here somewhere else. What other keys do I use quite often? I guess like G, but I mean, I could just transpose this stuff like up by 1. I don't think it'll affect it too much. Let's maybe go with like A, because then we cover like, we've got F sharp. We can like transpose down 1, up 1. And then if we make an A, we can transpose like down 1 and up 1, and then we cover quite a large range of stuff, you know. So I think here, because there's like this octave shifting thing going on, we may actually just want to disable this, because it was like a lower key. The bass itself, like the low notes, were a little bit rumbly, so I wanted like that higher octave as well. But because now we're gonna shift it up to an A, we might not need to go up this octave. So let's just see how this goes. I'll still keep them on separate layers, just because make it easier with processing and stuff, because the first bass can align, the second bass doesn't have to. But I guess this is just an example and I'm blabbering, so it doesn't really matter. So at the moment this is transposed, but I don't want to mess up this project. So I actually just want to 1, 2, 3. I think it'll be 3. So this should technically be an A, I think, that's playing. 1, 2, 3. Tactics House Audio, do you have Vital presets available? Yeah, dude. Let me see if I can find this link again. Here we go. Give me 1 sec. I've got, a bunch of stuff available at my store. I got a free faceplant pack as well. I think for this stuff, I kind of want to keep it more simple because I can always chop it and rearrange it and stuff like in context. But I kind of just want to get like tones and render those out, you know. Did you check Sylam? I've watched the development of it. I'm friends with FX23, the guy who's actually developing it. So I've watched the project grow. I haven't used the latest version though, to be honest with you. Will you be able to use presets with the free Vital? Yes, absolutely. In which format are the sounds? Vital presets, mainly. But I've got Serum presets there as well. All sorts. I think it's a great concept. I kind of like having the freedom of doing everything within synthesis. So I guess as much as I say that, like I do like kind of painting myself within certain paradigms, but I think in terms of like sound design with kick and bass, there's certain things that I may want to do that step outside of the paradigm of like what a plugin specific for that kind of thing can offer, if that makes sense. Which is kind of why I've been moving towards Faceplant kind of more and more, because you can kind of do everything with it. You can kind of create a patch in which emulates exactly what Scilab is doing. So as much as I appreciate the product, because it's really great concept, I just think for myself, I haven't really got so into it because those boxes are already ticked, if that makes sense. Sounds good. I like it. Ah, sorry. I hear the vocals say mushrooms, mushrooms. You hear correct. It's a snake. Fucking old school internets, dude. Badger, badger, mushroom, mushroom. Fuck. How old am I?
Mushroom. 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 Mushroom.
Yo, Third Eye, thank you so much. That is highly appreciated. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're enjoying the video, my dudes. That would also be highly appreciated.
Mushroom. 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 Mushroom.
I've got an idea of my head of something that we can like an ARP that kind of like starts really high, like and then kind of like plays down towards this kind of like transition. I think naturally you kind of generally have this we have this like natural inclination to create rises going upwards, but then when you hear them kind of like going downwards, maybe with a layer going down and up, it kind of creates so much more depth or dynamics or something like that. So we can try create something that's like more of an ARP type of thing coming downwards here. I think that could be cool. But I just need to run to the bathroom real quick. So let me loop this for you guys. We'll see you shortly.
Mushroom. 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 Mushroom.
I'm pretty sure, like, I'm still not 100% sure about this, but the one transition in Asterix Deep Jungle Walk, I'm pretty sure it's done in a similar way to this, where it's like this building feedback on a flanger that kind of like builds and then snaps back, at the kind of transition point. But it's just about like that perfect timing of the flanger and everything. So I reckon he did something like this, but then just rendered out a bunch of things until that flanger's like wobble was at the perfect time, and then went with that one, I guess. Thank you, Acid Crash. Appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. was trying to figure out why everything sounded like way over flanged, but it's because we got that ridiculous flanger on the channel. Like, these aren't these presets. What's going on here? What time is it over there? Over here it is 2:20. Banno Pal, this is Cubase Pro 11. Another one, Silent by Deadly. Cool name. Cubase Pro 11. Which one would you suggest to a beginner? Played around with Reason when I was young, but it's a lot to learn. Which one do you have at the moment? Because whichever one you have and you're currently using is the one that I recommend. Don't go out and spend cash on something that you're not sure yet what the benefits are and that kind of thing. So just use what you got. Learn the ins and outs of that. When you start understanding things, you'll be able to relate the stuff that I'm doing from Cubase into whatever DAW you're using. But yeah, I think nowadays it's, synthesis is so vast. It's like it's the difference in the programs isn't really going to make all that much difference to your sound. It's kind of about your workflow and how you use that program and stuff. Sweet. Okay, that's sounding good. I like that. We've got 10 things in A. So I'm thinking about it now. Logically, we would probably do D sharp, and I think that's going to pretty much cover the range, because it's very rare that I do stuff in like C and C sharp and that kind of thing, because I usually like the higher bass lines. I find like they've got nice energy to them. I don't often use D sharp, but I mean, like, it's good to have a wide range. So, I mean, and I'm feeling inspired. So let's do this. Let me just move some of this stuff up a little bit here. Make some space. See what we're doing. And let's move this over, create like a new part here. So how do we get to D sharp from here? I think we would go down is probably going to be the best, because it's like a lower bass usually. Okay, these are working duplicates, which we don't want, because we don't want to change that previous part. So we are currently, what key were we doing now? We were doing A. What was it? It was A, right? Yeah. So we need to move down 6. I believe this would be D sharp. It sounds nice. Oh, yeah, dig it. Sounding good, sounding good. When things just flow, it's a good thing. Sometimes these moments just don't happen, and it's like, what's going on? And that's why it's important to make samples and loops and stuff when these things, and presets, when these things do just flow. And so when you're feeling a little bit stumped creatively, you can just jump back, put in a bunch of stuff, and it kind of like kickstarts that whole creative process, you know? Lemon Chill question: any suggestions for plugins for analog sound shaping? How do you mean? What kind of sound shaping do you want to do? Like EQing, filtering, that kind of stuff? I would say just some saturation and some filter can get you most places. The kilohertz nonlinear filter, really, really nice, new, simple thing. Yo, Priest, how's it going? Shot, man. I think maybe we can do another one of those like ARPs, like the downward ARP type of thing. You can actually shamelessly just reuse this preset. I mean MIDI. Although I think it was on Vital that we did it. there's like solid few moments where my connection is sitting at 0 kilobits per second. Like, what the fuck even is going on? I'm supposed to have a fiber connection. I can't even send a slideshow to you guys. Like, what the fuck? Something in there needs to be soothed twice, I think. I'm going to be right back. Just got to go check on something real quick. Fuck this internet. Like, the whole sentence I said, it was like 0 kilobits per second. So I don't even know if you guys even heard that. But